Hello, everybody, and thanks for attending today's webinar. My name is Garrett Fuller. I'll be one of the presenters today with Foundation Software, and we're joined with Rob Cowden from Safety Plus. And today we are going to talk about safety training and job cost accounting. Both groups, both client bases, similar niche, right? So we thought this was a great opportunity to show two products together that can help both parties. With their construction accounting, job costing, and obviously their safety management. So we'll split up the webinar about 50-50 today and go through both, again, Foundation and Safety Plus. I'm sure there's a group of people from Safety Plus, users as well as Foundation users. So again, good opportunity to see both products and how well we can work together. We do encourage questions. Feel free to chime in on the comment area with any questions. Some we may have to get back to in a follow-up email or phone call, which is no problem. And I always want to encourage companies, too, if there's an interest, obviously. They're not overly pushing it, but, one-on-one demonstrations are obviously really effective for the overview. So let's go through real quick. Here we are, two beautiful faces. I'm on the left. I'm Garrett. With Foundation. I'm one of our regional sales managers. And again, Rob, who's going to be jumping in here shortly for Safety Plus, who's the Chief Innovation Officer for their team. So I'll give a quick 2-minute rundown on Foundation. We're just going to jump right in our product and give some of the high-level benefits. And that's kind of the intent here, right? Just a very big picture view of things. So Foundation, we're primarily focusing on construction accounting, job costing, project management. We absolutely offer some other features with mobile solutions, some estimating solutions, but job cost accounting and project management will be where my focus is today. We do everything direct. We always want to bring that up. There's no third-party resellers for our company. There's no third-party support. It's all in-house direct, which is huge for our clients. And implementations are all done directly from us as well. We've been in business since 1985. So we've got a long history of doing this. And here's who we're targeting. Small to mid-sized contractors. Lot of specialty contractors because our payroll is really strong. Got lots of general contractors just the same. Small to mid-size, that can mean $1 million or so in revenue to a few $100 million. But on average, I'd say from $5 to $60 million is our sweet spot as far as our client base. People that need a better construction solution, right? Maybe they're on something older, or if they're on an off-the-shelf product, right? Like a QuickBooks, a real common group of people that may have an interest in migrating. That number's a little dated, but definitely over 6,000 active clients with Foundation. And and that being said, let's take a look. So I'm going to jump right in to our base system. And again, just a high-level view. Demonstrations can typically take an hour and a half or so to go through the system, answer questions. So this will be a crash course, which hopefully is pretty informative saying that. So at the very top, that's our classic construction accounting modules. And that's focusing on anything from just better job costing, construction payroll, for people that have a heavy labor, union certified payroll, AIA billings, committed cost management. There's a lot of additional options that we can provide for companies depending on their trade. Do they have an inventory? Do you have heavy equipment? Is there a service division? A lot of our clients do, of course, construction. They might also have a service division, fixing air conditioners or something like that. So saying that, let's jump in. Let's take a look at some job cost reporting. Obviously, that's a key piece where a lot of people find value in our software, maybe looking for something better. There's a lot of options in our job cost reporting. We have a report writer that's part of Foundation. So as I poke through some samples here, you do not have to live with these preloaded templates, right? So at the very high level, we're seeing the health of the company. What's happening with jobs? What's happening with our financials and cash flow? Now, there's security everywhere in Foundation, so you're only able to see what you should see. Maybe these are just my jobs as a project manager. So at the very top here, we have our estimated cost, actual cost per job. We're seeing the same thing from a company level, estimated and actual cost for my current projects, or estimated and actual revenue and profitability. I'm going to go ahead and just drill down and see a more traditional job report. Now, this is one of about 40 to 50 different samples. Some are extremely detailed. Some are very summarized. This is somewhat, just a starting point at a summary level. So here's our contract amount, estimated costs, estimated profit or actual profit. Now, what's nice is anything that's blue, like my jobs, you can just click on it. And if I do that, if I click on a random project here, we're going to narrow down on that job and see a little bit more information. So for this project, here's our profit, here's our contract summary, because we're going to track change orders separate from the original scope of work. We're seeing our percent complete, committed costs, so that's going to give initially a summary of any purchase orders or subcontracts that we've issued, so we can see what's out there, what we've been billed on those commitments, again, what's left. Now, this job has about $200,000 in cost, so if I click on the shortcut that says cost detail, we're going to see that cost broken down by something like this. Now, this varies quite a bit from company to company. A lot of our users, probably half, are not using a very detailed cost code structure. They may just be tracking the main cost elements, labor, material, subs, equipment, those types of things. So in my example, I'm using cost codes. Some people call them phases. This is a task that we're performing. This could be, electrical, it could be drywall, roofing, framing, any category of work that a company's doing. So if I click on a task, I'm seeing that cost broken down by the labor, material, subs, equipment, burden from payroll, which is pretty helpful to see. We're getting an actual true payroll cost on our jobs from that overhead from payroll. So by task or cost code, we can see the breakdown of those expenses. Now you can keep going. If I click into labor, for example, there's the backup detail from time card history, if I have access to that from a security standpoint. Some of our users attach documents in our system. For example, as I drill down on these AP invoices that made up that $2,000 of cost for material, I can maybe see an attached image. Basic concept, right? But I'm able to pull up PDFs, pictures, so I have access to those, just in a digital format, not having to go to a file cabinet. So you can go paperless in the system, not just with AP, but really anywhere. Change orders, again, just scratching the surface. We're, of course, managing change orders effectively, where you see, again, where the job started with its initial contract. Here I have some approved change orders. I have pending ones, rejected. At heart, we're, of course, doing classic financials, income statements, balance sheets. We're starting here with a summary of our financials. Over under billing, people call this different things, WIP reports, bonding reports, just another classic construction-based report that a lot of companies need, or maybe their bonding company or CPA firm would require. Again, there's cash management, cash flow reporting, payables and receivables. Even just having classic retainage tracking is helpful. Managing that properly, having the ability to release retainage. So there's a lot, and I know I'm just kind of not per se rushing through some of the reporting, but just wanted to scratch the surface. There's about, like I said, 40 or so other job reports. There's preloaded financials, which are also customizable. You can do budget versus actual, not only on job reports, but financials, and do monthly comparatives, annual comparatives. Now, saying that, from a job record, we're getting an estimate established on the job. We do have some estimating features. We offer electrical estimating packages, roofing estimating solutions. We integrate with any third-party estimating solution or Excel. So our job's holding that budget data, and it's also helping even for payroll purposes, multi-state payroll, multiple local payroll. So even if I quick throw a time card in for the benefit of anybody who's labor intensive, I want to point out that rates will default in for you, right? So and maybe depending where the job is, if anybody's working in multiple states or cities, we're updating tax tables automatically. We're updating, local, state, federal, at least most local taxes. And I'm just having a person bounce on a few different jobs. So, on this top job, this person, Rick's, getting $19.50 an hour. Silly little numbers. But on another job, maybe he's getting $17.50 because there's different pay rates for those jobs. Maybe it's a municipal job. So again, any union payroll, we're going to manage all the deduction and fringes efficiently. We're going to pop in pay rates correctly. Tax tables are going to be driven by the job location. Workers' comp might be triggered by cost code. If the person's classification changes, maybe their pay rate changes. So these are just samples of things that we're automating based on good setup. Now, if payroll's processed, and we do offer payroll processing for our clients, you could do your payroll in-house, checks, direct deposits, obviously all the tax reporting, but we can pay that for you. We can do just like a traditional payroll service, like an ADP or Paychecks, but it's all in one. We can be your service, paying your taxes, taking care of W-2s, quarterly returns. Either way, we're providing certified payroll, union reporting. So I'm just going to pop into a standard federal format. We do about 4 updates a year across the software, whether it's for payroll purposes or project management features, but all of the different variations are there. LCP tracker, AstroWare, California DIR, union reporting. Again, managing the deductions and fringes, maybe by month, showing you what's due to a given union, breaking down the employees, their details, as well as the deductions and fringes and what's due to a given local. So payroll is a really key piece. Now, we do have committed cost management. I won't get into that in detail. Managing subcontracts, POs, you can absolutely produce these forms out of Foundation, whether they're purchase orders, contracts, lien waivers, work orders for maybe a service department, managing those and making sure in accounts payable we're not overbilled. Now, AP can also route invoices for approval. So that's usually a pretty helpful and popular feature where as invoices are entered, if we attach an image, and I'm shortcutting that, but I might be a reviewer that was sent invoices for approval. Maybe I'm a project manager and I'm sent invoices for my job. So I can hop in like I'm doing and see the actual invoice, right? And then I can make sure that it's coded properly. Did this invoice get coded to the right cost category? Maybe it went to equipment rental and it should have been material. So they have an opportunity to view that information and make sure it's accurate before it's committed to the software. Billings. AIA billings, a very classic option, right? Progress billings. We do very good job at time and material billings, whether they're short little extras or like large scale T&M jobs for companies that have that type of work. Unit price billing for quantity-driven billings. This is a simple schedule of value screen where I'm just throwing in random percentages for my percent complete on these few line items. I'm holding retainage at 10% because we can release that partial at any time or final at the end of the job. I'll go ahead and pop open an AIA, which you're probably all familiar with if you do some type of AIA billings, of course. So that form's there. You can use different templates, but it's really nice because it goes progressive, right? It keeps rolling over to the next applications. We can release retainage, as I mentioned earlier, effectively. There's 1099s. I'm bouncing to AP for a second again. We have lien waivers. So a lot of those classic construction forms are there and they're automated. And again, they are customizable as well. Now, I wanted to pop into, just jump to my main screen here for a second, our mobile application, just for about a minute to kind of give a view of that, because that's another common approach a lot of our users do. Their field crew, whether it's a foreman or individual employees, will be utilizing maybe this tool. And so that way they can either clock in and out, which is very common, right? An individual just handling their own time. So I'll go ahead and press that. If I hit clock in, it knows who I am, and that's not me, but we'll pretend it was, right? And it wouldn't let me pick anybody else. I'm kind of logged in where I'm a user that's maybe like a foreman where I can see other people. But essentially, they're clocking into jobs and potentially cost codes. And that data is essentially pushed right back into our payroll module for a final approval. There's actually a couple layers of approval. That time can get routed to person A before it gets sent back into our formal payroll module for a final review. There's also crew or group entries to time. So a manager, like a foreman, can jump in, see their employees for a job, and see all the cost categories for that project if we're using cost codes, and they're able to key the hours in per person, per task. So it's just an effective way, and it's our mobile app. It pushes and pulls right directly from our core software. They can put in notes, quantities complete, equipment usage, depending on the trade. So I wanted to mention just the mobile capabilities. And then before I wrap up a super brief review that I just did and pass things to Rob to talk about Safety Plus, wanted you to be aware we do offer full project management, submittals, RFIs, change orders, correspondence management, scheduling capabilities with crew schedules, task level, so we can see each project, what's scheduled when, have employees the ability to see their schedule on a smartphone, for example, to know where they're going and what they're doing. But it's great because I can bounce between the view of resources and say where are not only the jobs scheduled and what the activities are, but who's scheduled where, what equipment is potentially scheduled, any subcontractors or other resources. So Project HQ kind of brings a lot of things together, not only providing the core job cost accounting and construction billings and payroll, but more full-scale project management needs as well in one solution, along with our mobile app. Now, saying what I've said, I'm going to bounce things over to Rob, and of course have Safety Plus give a review of their product, and he'll take it from there. So Rob, I'm going to make you the presenter, and hopefully you're able to show your screen or whatever it is that's asking you. There you go. We're good.
Is that working? All right.
Absolutely, sir.
Good deal. Well, thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it. And I'm going to hope to do just what Garrett did, because that was pretty impressive. Went through that pretty quick. That's a lot of information, and wow, it does a lot of stuff. That's the first time I had a chance to see it, guys, and I thought that was pretty neat. So what I'm going to do, again, like I just said, is kind of the same thing Garrett did, which was give you an overview of our product and kind of an overview of us with Safety Plus. We've got about 6 distinct product lines, one of them being Safety Plus Web. Our company is Safety Plus Inc., and we'll send you some documentation, but if you visit safetyplusinc.net, you can see the different information about what we do. It is relevant that we are a safety management company. We've been around since '91. We're not a tech company. We didn't write a tech product to try to solve your problems and not understand your problems. We're actually a safety management company. We manage small to mid-sized business all over the country, and so we needed the software to work for ourselves. So we wrote the software. It's our own proprietary software, and we just kind of created solutions in it. Now, the distinct product lines we have are, one is the software, 2 is the safety management piece I just talked about. The third one's contractor management. So if you have contractors on the site, you can manage your contractors through certificates of insurance, through safety questionnaires. So we have that information, master service agreements, whatever you need to collect from your contractors. We have a product line where we provide safety labor or personnel on the site. So if you need a safety manager on a certain site, we can provide that for you. And we have a lot of ad hoc services as well, everything from doing safety training to industrial hygiene to environmental permitting. We do a lot of stuff. So if you get a chance, do visit Safety Plus Inc. But for today, I'm just going to show you Safety Plus Web. And like Garrett mentioned, a typical demo with Safety Plus Web, just the web portion of it would go an hour plus. So you're really getting a 10,000 foot overview of what we're going to do. I'm going to focus in on a few things that I think are cool, that are neat to me. And if you'll get it by the end, but I really enjoy what I do now is being able to, because I've been a safety guy for 30 years. The last 10 years, I've been working on the software product, and I've been able to try to create innovations is the word we use, but just create neat features that are going to be useful on the job site, things I wish I had. So I'll drill into those that make me interested, and hope you guys have the same interest. Also, I want to say I'm going to give you a lot of information. Think of it like a cafeteria. You don't have to buy everything. You can come in and just get the pieces that you need. So don't be overwhelmed, or don't be, I don't want to fire hose you, but so you can limit this to just what you guys need on the job. Now, I'm going to click through here and do my best to show you some of the stuff. I'm going to use a pen feature here, but I'm going to show you just the high level features and benefits. One thing that's important, and I'm going to circle this right here, all in one place. A lot of you may be using apps to do certain things. You may have an app to do inspections and an app to do a meeting and different things. You really silo your data, and your data is not held together. It really kind of kills the whole experience around user experience and around consolidating the data to make efficiencies. So what we did is we built a system that you can do just about anything in, but it also shrinks itself down to the user level to where the user has an easy time using just what they need to use. So it may work just as well as an individual app, because that person only uses that individual app, but also now it's also collecting data everywhere else and consolidating that data together. And I'll give you a better idea in a second. But we use this to, you can train your staff, you can track training, log inspections, and I'm going to show you each of these as we go through. So let me skip to the next page. First thing is safety training. I want to point out here that we have a very mobile optimized safety training. So you can do it on a phone, you can do it on a tablet, you can do it on a PC, however you want to do it. And our stuff comes preloaded with training. So we got over 70 safety modules, training modules that we've created in-house that you guys can use. And these are the things you need on the job. Like here you see HAZCOM, and up here is access to medical records, scaffolding, forklift, aerial lift, PPE, all those different things that you need. We have the training programs for those in English, and almost all of them are in Spanish now as well. Let me go to the next page here. It is very mobile friendly, like I talked about. I always said the 70. Oh, I got ahead of myself, didn't I? And so you can, the thing I didn't say was adding your own content. So if you had your own trainings, and we get a lot of people now, which I think is really cool, they'll go out with their iPhone and they'll do a little SOP on a piece of equipment, or they'll do a little quick almost update for their company on maybe cell phone policies or something. And we can upload that content and put it in there, assign it to people, and have them review it. So it's really easy to do that. And again, I mentioned English and Spanish. So tracking requirements. So not just training. So like you probably can't see it because it's really small in here. You can see training topics, but like here it says blood work. You might have medical surveillance. You might have respiratory fit tests. It could be other things than training. If you need to attach something to an employee, whatever it happens to be, you can, and you can track this, and notifications and reminders and all of that gets attached to the employee as well, so they get that information. It's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you in a minute the printing ID badges and QR codes. And I didn't mention this up front, but this is going to be kind of interactive. So if you guys will take out your phones, if you got an iPhone, just go to your camera. If you got an Android, go to your QR reader. I'm going to have a QR code in a minute I want you to scan. So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up before I get there. Another thing here is this reporting that we do. And this is an example of what you're going to see when you do this QR code. But right here is a report from an employee, and it's an employee report that talks about their job classifications, their qualifications. Are they qualified to do something, or are they not qualified to do something? This is something you guys can use in the field like a supervisor to make sure that employees have the right credentials to do the right jobs. And I'm going to skip to this now, and this is where the QR code is. I want you to scan that. I'm going to give you a few seconds here. I'm not going to stay here long, so I hope you got ready to scan that. But if you scan that QR code, you notice that you're doing that on your phone. You have no special software, and it's going to take you to a report so that anybody can see that report when you're on the job site. Whether your foreman's using that or a subcontractor, anybody can see and know that the right person is doing the right task. You can see the full training history. You can download certifications. And you can do this either via badge like you see right here, or very easy to print hard hat stickers, which you can print right off a laser printer that are weatherproof, and do the same thing. Now, hopefully you got to that report. I'm going to back up one. If you did, this is the report you're seeing now. You're seeing who this is, a little bit of information about the employee, what classifications and qualifications they have. And if you'll scroll on down on that report a little further, you'll actually see a list of trainings that are completed. And if they're expired, it'll show you they're expired, but it'll show you a little blue dot next to the training. This is a really bad pin here to do a little blue dot, but if you had a little blue dot there, you click that, it'll actually take you to a link to open up the file. So imagine you had a documentation attached to that training, like maybe a crane certificate or something like that. So what I'm trying to show you here, and this is one of my favorites obviously, is when you're on the job site, your foreman, before you put somebody on the forklift, could literally scan the hard hat of the person and see are they up to date and qualified and credentialed to operate that forklift. So no more can they say I didn't know, and no more should you put untrained employees in a risky situation. I mean, if you do root cause analysis, you're going to run into a lot of untrained employees, is why the accidents happen. So again, I'm going to skip through this. Hopefully you like that information. Next thing is inspections and audits. If you're doing anything on the job site, you need to do leading indicators and not just lagging, right? We can all track injuries and incidents, and I'm going to show you that feature in a minute. But doing inspections and audits give you some leading information. You know, the last thing I just showed you, being able to see training before you get on there, that's leading indicators. We can prevent things from happening, not just record what did happen. So audits and inspections are a big deal. I'm gonna go through a few things here. One, you can configure your own checklists. So over here on the right, you see the phone. This is, basically questions, and it's a checklist. See the questions, you see the answers. This allows you by the questions and answers. And I'm going to show you deeper when we get to the phone app piece, but it allows you to snap pictures and assign risk levels. Risk levels are really important for, like here, for corrective actions. It kind of gives you a to-do list, right? You fix the riskier ones first, a prioritization. So having that built into this is really good. And also it'll send automatic notifications to everybody. Yep. I just noticed I did not start my clock, so I'm going to try not to go over here. Next thing is meetings. So you can do safety meetings in the field. Now, whether this is toolbox talks, you see here it includes toolbox talks, or whether this is a review of your SDS sheets. Actually, I think the next page talks about that, so I'm going to go there. So whether it's like toolbox talks, SDS sheets that you've loaded up, or your JSAs, if you have JSAs on the job site, you can review this with your crew right there on the job site and have them sign off on this. Now, when COVID came around, people stopped touching other people's phones, right? But you can still record this without the signature if you want, or still record it with the signature. So, and it's more than just this. I mean, we have a document repository that we've got pre-filled out information in there. We got policy manuals, and we got HR forms, we've got environmental forms, DOT, all this stuff is in there, and you can include your own. And when you put your own documents up, then you can use the meetings app to review your own documents. So if you had your own SOPs, you could do this in the field with your employees. Super simple to do. All right, next thing is incident management. So in incident management and OSHA logs, you're going to want to track all your incidents. And if you need your OSHA log, here's your OSHA log, your 300. But it'll do your 300, your 300A, your 301s, all the different logs that you need. You can record injury incidents, you can record vehicle incidents or other. A lot of our book of business is construction and a lot of industrial construction, but some concrete and asphalt, and you're always running over a mailbox or breaking somebody's windshield, and you need a GL recordability too. So all that's kind of in here as well. And I'm going to show you some cool analytics in a second, but if you're collecting incident information, you need to have analytics to go with it. And I just said the log. It also allows you to put in corrective actions. So if something injury did happen, what do you do to correct it to make sure we don't fall through the cracks, right? You generate your OSHA logs. You can run any kind of reporting. We have a very robust reporting engine of all kind of different reports. So whatever you need to gather or gain from that, you can. The next thing here is tasks. And this kind of ties into really everything I just showed you, because you can have tasks that have certain statuses, and a task can be, let's say, a single instance task. It can be reoccurring. Like every Thursday, you have a certain inspection you want them to do. You can assign those tasks that way. Or once a quarter, you have an environmental water sample to take, so you can assign a task like that. Or let's say you had an injury. If you went to the injury grid, just imagine this grid is the injury grid. There'd be a little flag here at the grid. You can actually click that flag and create a task based on that injury to send to somebody, or based on an inspection that's still open. So it's really functional within the system here to be able to do the tasks. They're very mobile friendly. This page shows you this on a tablet, right? So here's the task on a tablet. You can go in and you can change the status of the task. You can see who's been notified. So other recipients, they're going to get information when you do the tasks. Drawing the lines here, imagine these are documents. If I had documents attached, they could open the documents and review them. They could put notes in here and add the notes to it. So you can fully function this task thing, whether it's a tablet or even a phone, it works just as well. Now, some of the things here that you may want to use tasks for, say like environmental permitting. That's actually a good example. So let's imagine this document up here is actually a link to Safety Plus Web forms. And I'm going to show you forms in a minute too. But you've got a form created. It's going to be a really bad picture of a form, guys. But you got this form created. So you hit the link, you fill out a form that is maybe your quarterly sampling, right? So you fill out the quarterly sampling form, close out the task, and you move on. You could do root cause analysis, SIFs. For those of you that may or may not be a safety professional, we use acronyms for everything. So SIF is serious injury and fatalities. If you're not tracking those, you need to. Even if you only have a few accidents, a quick example of that as an SIF is if someone broke their ankle, say, right? That's a big deal, but they broke it tripping over a pallet. That's a different injury than they broke their ankle because a forklift ran over them, right? So something that is a serious injury potential for fatality, those need to be investigated, more in depth than the other ones. It may be something like not following a lockout tagout policy. That's a huge deal. You can get someone killed doing that, right? So you can track your SIFs in here, your CAPAs, corrective action and preventive actions. So just what do we do to fix the problems that we found? You can do quality audits, you can do assessments, you can do anything you want to do in here, HR, environmental. I mean, it really is a fully functioning system. Next thing, I'm gonna put a little X over here. Do not try to scan this. You can try, but it's not gonna work, right? That's just an example QR, but this is another one of my favorites here, is this Employee Quick Pass. And with an Employee Quick Pass, basically what you're doing here is you're getting an employee into your system, in a quick way. And it can be more than just an employee. If you have any turnover, right, then you have to either have temporary labor or maybe high turnover rates, or you're using a union workforce and you have new employees coming to your site, or you have subcontractors. They can easily use this system. And I'm going to show you how this works, but they can scan a QR code, say at the gate where your job site is, or right up here, this URL. You could send them a link by email before they get to you the night before. Like you could send a temp service, right, or the union hall a link. And when you send them that link, the employees can be able to go in here and fill out their name, their email address. And when they go next here, they're going to say, what am I? Am I a crane operator or a fork truck driver? And this is all, or that's actually truck driver, but this is all configurable, or a visitor. So let's say they checked off on crane operator. Then they go next. When they hit next here, it's going to enter them into your system as an employee in whatever department you want them to be. So this could be a temporary employee department, right? It's going to send them an email, and they don't have to actually have an email because it'll open a link right there when they fill that form out. But when they get this email, they can click this or scan this, and it's going to take them right into a training page. Here's an example of a training page where they can actually go in and take training and then go ahead and take the test. Now, you didn't have to have any administrative people enter that stuff in. You didn't have to have any time waste. Literally, again, you could send this to a temp service. Let's say you had a flagger that was going to be on your job site. You could send a link to this. They could fill it out, and they could actually take the flagger safety training before they showed up the next morning. And it didn't cost you any time or effort other than sending a link to them and telling them what to fill out. So super simple. I really like this. There's a lot of legs to this, a lot of things that you can do. I used to hire crane operators on our job sites, and I'd always have to chase down their crane certificates. Literally, they could actually upload their, instead of taking the training course, they could actually just upload their crane certificate for that training course, and I could actually retrieve that. And I could do it the night before, they could do it the night before. Don't have to wait till it gets to the job site. So again, this feature right here is really cool. Another thing here, and I'm getting there, guys, I'm almost there. Safety Plus Web Forms. This really does give you all the customization you need, for whatever you're looking to do with safety. One of the hard parts about getting in a safety program is having to follow the rules of the safety program and change, or software, and change your safety program up to meet those. This allows us to follow, to follow your own requirements and create your own stuff. So, or use your existing stuff. So I'm going to show you like your lockout tagouts, your JSAs, your first report of injuries, root causes. This could be HR forms. You could have, think of any form you want. You can have an application form, a disciplinary form. You could have an environmental form, a QA form. Whatever you want to do, you can build those in Safety Plus. And when you build this form, and this is an example right here, lockout tagout. When you build this form, you could have a QR code. It's going to be a bad picture again, guys, so bear with me. You could have a QR code sit on the side of a piece of machinery, and you could bring your phone or your tablet up there and you could scan it. And when you did it, bring up this lathe too. Here's your equipment specific lockout. You can review this with your crew. You can review this with your crew, take pictures of the job site, your lockbox, have your crew sign off on this, and you got proof that you did this lockout out there. Now, this is a really powerful way of doing lockout in the field. Your JSAs, here's a great example, and this happens a lot, is companies will have their own form. Like, so here's your JSA form, right? And right now you're doing it in paper format. Well, if you take this and you scanned it up into our system, it actually digitizes it for you, and it links these to certain cells within this. So when your foreman fill this out, it fills out this paper copy of it as well. So let's say you had 5 foremen on the job, and you got 4 of them that can do this, and you got 1 of them that's as old as me and does not do technology very well, right? Well, if you were just using this and it didn't work this way, then you'd have 4 that did this electronic version and 1 that had this paper version. It would be confusing. Well, this way of doing it, all 5 print out exactly the same. So now you can have all the documents look the same so the employees on the job sites don't get confused. And then if you want the analytics from this, you just take this and you enter it in here or just attach it to one of these. So not hard to do. We understand everything that we've evolved into to technology and using things in the field are also de-evolved so you can use paper versions of this, right? Because not everybody can use the technology. I totally understand that. You want to include some and disinclude others. It's not a good way of going about. Now, obviously, I'd like everybody to use technology, but here's another example of an injury form. And I won't bore you with this, but you get the same thing. Whatever claims you want, or whatever thing you want to talk about the weather, you want to talk about, ask them certain questions. You can put whatever you want to on these forms, these investigation forms, to ask relevant stuff to your business. Oops. And then with that, obviously you get some form analytics as well. Besides the analytics I'm going to show you in a second, you can also see how long it's taken them to fill out forms. You can dial in the forms and make them even better depending on your situation. You guys may not be ready for the heavy analytics right now. It doesn't matter because you don't have to use those. You can just use the collection media, and when you're ready, these will be there and you can turn it on then and look at it. As an example here, here's advanced analytics again. And right here, this top one, and again, you're gonna have a hard time probably reading this, but the top one says claims by body part. If you look at here, back is 28% of the injuries. Probably fair to say that. Now, this is by type. Now, if 25% were back, well, we look down here and you see, well, 35% were strains and sprains. So that kind of matches up. You can see that makes logical sense. And these analytics all have a drill in. Like Garrett's stuff had some cool drill ins, just like that here. You can drill down into the data behind it and see what's going on. You can see injuries by supervisor, by area, your recordable rates and how they're doing. You can inspections by, I can't even read that, inspector, and inspections by type. So we've got 100+ analytics that are baked into this, and we can also make you custom analytics depending on what your KPIs are and your views you need to do, which I think I just covered all of this. So for the sake of time, I'm going to skip by that. I told you I'd show you the app. The app, this is going to go quick because it's kind of the same thing. All the stuff we just did is also available in an iOS and an Android app. Okay, and I'm going to show you some screenshots of this so you see it. So here you can do all these things, which we already talked about. So like up here, you can see employee documents. So an employee can go in and they have their own page, just like the training, they lay on their own page. They have their own page here, so they can go in and see their own documents. They can take tests, and I'll show you some more of that in a second. Let me go to the other pages. Okay, so like audits here. So here's audits. Here's your audit checklist. You come into this, you can actually pick the checklist that you want. Let's say it was forklift. Well, up here is forklift. So when I hit that, it brought me to forklift here. And then you get your Q&A, your questions. Now, if you slide right, it's a yes. If you slide left, it's a not applicable. Yeah, so if you just hit the thing, if you just select and just instead of sliding right or left, then it's going to open up some more options. I'm going to show you that in a second. Training, area list, pass the test. That's just the same thing I showed you before. But when you hit that button, like I was saying, you're going to open up more options. So if you hit this red X, which means there's a deviation, you can put in description, employee, what kind of audit type was it, a hazard or an inspection or environmental, whatever it happened to be, the risk assessment code, pictures, and there's actually some more down here. You can correct it on site. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. It's pretty cool. Employee observation, you can turn in a report just on an employee. So you can just pick an employee, and I think the next page will show you better. Yeah. You can pick an employee and do a quick report. Hey, Bill Brasky, even though in the picture he was, in the real life, he was not wearing his hard hat. You can report that. Or he was wearing his hard hat, and that's a good job, Bill. You could also just click the button and text him or call him. Super simple there if you got the data in the system. And again, I'm missing about 40 features that you guys probably need, but I wanted to give you the top level ones. And one more thing on implementation is we work with you to get this stuff in here. So if you do use our system, we're going to work with you setting it up, getting it straight, working with you on classifications and qualifications, getting the back data into the system. So it's literally working for you day one when you start. So hopefully, Garrett, I didn't mean to just fire hose everybody that fast, but hopefully I gave you kind of a
You're good. You're totally good. It's hard, right? Trying to get a lot of information in a given time frame, but hopefully we did a good job for the group listening and watching. Saying good news too. We will send out and Rob, you're good if you needed to finish up anything there. We will send out. Okay. We will send out a recorded webinar link to everybody that's registered and obviously attended. So here's just a quick screen again with our contact information. Both of us are pretty laid back, pretty easy, so no threat on us hunting you down or anything. But feel free to call anytime, shoot an email with any questions. Even if it's like Rob said, just bits and pieces of things that can help you. Both Safety Plus and Foundation are more than happy to just focus on certain components of our solutions to help your companies. So we'll leave it at that. Try to keep things efficient today. We'll both send out those recorded links, and happy to help with anything at any time. But yeah, thanks again, Rob. Were you good? Did you have anything to say
Yeah,
in
no,
summary today? Were you
same,
fine?
same thing Garrett just said, guys. If you have any questions, use my email. Send me an email. I'm happy to answer or whatever. And again, I'm not the sales team, so I'm not going to chase you down. I may turn you into sales. I'm just kidding. But just send me questions and I can answer those and help you out.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for attending. We appreciate it very much. And yeah, we'll go from there and reach out anytime. Thanks again.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you, Rob.